One of the main factors that contributed to the global energy crisis in 2022 was the drastic reduction of Russian gas supplies to Europe through its pipelines. Russia, which is the largest gas exporter to Europe, cut its pipeline gas flows by 74% in the third quarter of 2022 compared to the same period in 2021. This was a response to the Western sanctions imposed on Russia for its invasion of Ukraine and its violation of human rights. The impact of Russia's pipeline cuts was felt across the European and global gas markets, as demand for natural gas soared amid a cold winter and a recovery from the pandemic. The shortage of gas supply pushed up the prices of gas and electricity to unprecedented levels, causing inflation, social unrest, and economic hardship for millions of consumers and businesses. Some of the effects of Russia's pipeline cuts on the gas markets were the suspension of Nord Stream 1, a major pipeline that delivers gas from Russia to Germany via the Baltic Sea. Russia halted its gas deliveries through this pipeline in August 2022, citing technical issues and maintenance works. However, many analysts suspected that this was a political move to pressure Germany and other European countries to approve Nord Stream 2, a controversial new pipeline that would bypass Ukraine and increase Russia's leverage over Europe's energy security. The disruption of gas flows through Ukraine, which is a key transit country for Russian gas to Europe. Russia reduced its gas exports through Ukraine by 63% in the third quarter of 2022, as it intensified its military aggression against its neighbor. This put Ukraine at risk of a humanitarian crisis, as it faced severe shortages of gas and electricity for its own domestic needs. It also threatened the stability and security of Europe, as Ukraine is a strategic ally and partner of the EU and NATO. The increase of gas imports from other sources, such as liquefied natural gas, LNG, and alternative suppliers. Europe tried to diversify its gas supply by increasing its LNG imports from countries such as Qatar, Algeria, and the US. However, LNG was also in high demand in Asia and other regions, which drove up its prices and made it less competitive than pipeline gas. Moreover, LNG requires more infrastructure and logistics than pipeline gas, which added to its costs and complexity. Europe also sought to increase its gas imports from other pipeline suppliers, such as Norway, Azerbaijan, and Turkey. However, these sources were not enough to compensate for the loss of Russian gas, and some of them were also affected by technical issues or geopolitical tensions. The rise of gas prices to record highs, which had a ripple effect on the economy and society. The average wholesale gas price in Europe reached $1,800 per thousand cubic meters in September 2022, more than 10 times higher than a year earlier. This translated into higher electricity prices, as gas is a major fuel for power generation. The average electricity price in Europe reached €300 per megawatt hour in September 2022, more than 6 times higher than a year earlier. These soaring energy prices caused inflation to spike to 9% in Europe in December 2022, the highest level since the euro was introduced. They also triggered social protests, political turmoil, and industrial disruption across Europe. Many households struggled to pay their energy bills or keep their homes warm. Many businesses faced bankruptcy or reduced their production or staff due to high energy costs. Some sectors, such as steel, chemicals, fertilizers, and plastics, were particularly affected by the gas shortage, as they rely heavily on gas as a raw material or an energy source. The outlook for gas supply and demand in 2023, and the factors that could affect the market balance, such as weather, LNG availability, storage levels, and policy measures. Natural gas is expected to play a key role in the global energy mix in 2023, as it provides a reliable and flexible source of power generation, heating, and industrial use. However, the natural gas market will also face several challenges and uncertainties, such as weather variability, LNG supply disruptions, storage constraints, and environmental regulations. According to the U. Energy Information Administration, EIA, natural gas consumption for electric power in the United States during the summer of 2023, May-September, will average 38 billion cubic feet, BCF/d, the second most on record behind the 39 billion cubic feet per day recorded last year. This high demand is driven by a decline in coal-fired electricity generation, relatively low natural gas prices, and more overall electricity generation due to warmer than normal temperatures in the forecast. However, more electricity generation from renewable sources in 2023 compared with 2022 will limit the growth of natural gas consumption for power generation. On the supply side, the EIA forecasts that dry natural gas production will increase by about 2% in 2023, averaging between 100 billion cubic feet per day and 101 billion cubic feet per day for the year. This increase is mainly due to higher natural gas prices and improved drilling efficiency. The EIA also expects LNG exports to remain flat at about 10.6 billion cubic feet per day in 2023, as no new LNG export facilities are planned to come online in that year. The balance between supply and demand will determine the level of natural gas inventories, which are an important indicator of market tightness and price movements. The EIA forecasts that natural gas inventories will increase by 1,648 billion cubic feet from the end of April to reach 3,762 billion cubic feet at the end of October, 4% more than the 5-year average. This implies that the market will be adequately supplied during the injection season, barring any major disruptions or extreme weather events. However, the situation could change in the winter of 2023 to 2024, when natural gas demand typically peaks due to higher heating needs. The EIA expects natural gas prices to increase in the first quarter of 2024, then drop below 2023 prices. This is because additional increases in dry natural gas production will outpace higher LNG exports and slightly lower domestic consumption than in 2023. The EIA forecasts that average monthly LNG exports will surpass 13 billion cubic feet per day by the end of 2024 and continue growing in 2025 as new export facility projects increase overall LNG export capacity. The outlook for natural gas supply and demand in other regions of the world will also affect the global market balance and price dynamics. For example, Europe is facing a severe natural gas shortage and record high prices due to low storage levels, reduced pipeline flows from Russia and Norway, and strong competition for LNG cargoes from Asia. The situation could worsen if winter weather is colder than normal or if geopolitical tensions escalate. On the other hand, Asia is expected to see a strong recovery in natural gas demand in 2023, driven by economic growth, coal-to-gas switching, and environmental policies. However, Asia will also face challenges such as LNG supply disruptions from Australia and Qatar, infrastructure constraints, and price volatility. In conclusion, natural gas could dominate the energy market in 2023 by providing a clean and flexible fuel for various sectors and regions. However, the natural gas market will also be influenced by several factors that could affect the supply-demand balance and price levels, such as weather variability, LNG availability, storage levels, and policy measures. Therefore, natural gas consumers and producers should be prepared for potential risks and opportunities in this dynamic and evolving market. Natural gas is often touted as a bridge fuel that can help the world transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources. But is this claim justified by the facts? In this section, we will explore the opportunities and challenges for natural gas as a transition fuel in the context of climate change and renewable energy development. One of the main advantages of natural gas is that it emits less carbon dioxide than coal or oil when burned for electricity generation. According to the International Energy Agency, coal-to-gas switching globally avoided more than 500 million tons of CO2 emissions between 2010 and 2018. Natural gas also has superior air quality attributes compared to coal or oil, as it produces less particulate matter, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and mercury. These pollutants can cause respiratory diseases, acid rain, and environmental damage. In many countries, natural gas has already replaced coal as the fuel of choice for electricity production, with climate and air quality benefits. Another benefit of natural gas is that it can complement intermittent renewable energy sources such as solar and wind. Natural gas-fired power plants can ramp up or down quickly to balance the fluctuations in supply and demand of electricity. They can also provide backup power when renewable energy sources are not available due to weather conditions or technical issues. Natural gas can also be used to produce hydrogen, which can be stored and used as a clean fuel for transport or industry. Hydrogen can be produced either from water using renewable electricity, green hydrogen, or from natural gas combined with carbon capture and storage, blue hydrogen. However, natural gas also faces significant challenges as a transition fuel. One of them is the high methane emissions associated with its production, transportation, and consumption. Methane is a potent greenhouse gas with a warming potential that is roughly 30 to 90 times greater than that of CO2, depending on the timescale of the assessment. The IEA estimates that the methane emissions related to oil and gas operations worldwide are about 2.4 billion tons of CO2 equivalent. These emissions can negate or even outweigh the climate benefits of switching from coal or oil to natural gas. Therefore, it is essential to reduce methane leaks, flaring, and venting along the natural gas supply chain through improved monitoring, regulation, and technology. Another challenge for natural gas is the risk of carbon lock-in and stranded assets. Carbon lock-in refers to the situation where investments in fossil fuel infrastructure create inertia and path dependency that make it harder to switch to low-carbon alternatives in the future. Stranded assets refer to the assets that lose their value or become unprofitable due to changes in market conditions or policy regulations. The expansion of natural gas infrastructure could create both carbon lock-in and stranded assets if it delays or displaces investments in renewable energy sources and energy efficiency measures. Moreover, natural gas infrastructure could become obsolete or uneconomical if more ambitious climate policies are implemented to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius or 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, as agreed in the Paris Agreement. A third challenge for natural gas is the competition from renewable energy sources that are becoming cheaper and more widespread. The rapid decrease in the cost of solar, wind, and other renewable energy technologies makes them an even better alternative than gas in more and more locations. Renewable energy sources have multiple advantages over natural gas, such as zero emissions, lower operating costs, greater energy security, and more local jobs. Renewable energy sources can also be integrated into smart grids that use digital technologies, demand response, and energy storage to optimize the performance and reliability of the electricity system. In conclusion, natural gas has played a role to date in addressing local air quality problems and reducing carbon dioxide emissions in many jurisdictions around the globe. Coal-to-gas switching can continue to help cut emissions as the energy transition gains momentum. However, natural gas is not a silver bullet for climate change mitigation. It has significant drawbacks that need to be addressed urgently, such as methane emissions, carbon lock-in, and stranded assets. Moreover, natural gas faces increasing competition from renewable energy sources that offer greater environmental, economic, and social benefits. Therefore, natural gas should not be seen as an end goal, but rather as a temporary solution that needs to be phased out gradually as renewable energy sources become dominant in the global energy mix.